because we thought we'd have, okay. I'm going to call the meeting to order if, oops, wait, until I get the thumbs up.
Think you're warming.
He
To
couldn't make
be
it.
discussed.
To be
Change of
discussed.
plans.
Yeah, so sorry about that. So
That's
we,
all right.
we thought we'd just rock on, so. Wednesday, May 20th, 2026 Jefferson County Water Advisory Committee meeting is called to order. Second on the agenda is the determination of members' presence and existence of quorum. We have 6 members present, and we may have 1 member joining us on the phone, so we do have a quorum. I will go ahead and ask for any public comment. There appears to be no public comment at this time. And we will move right into review and approval of minutes.
Regretting that I do not have them prepared for us today. We could table them to the next meeting.
I agree to that. I don't believe we need a motion that we'll work on that. We will see them for next meeting and no worries. It's appearing to be a short meeting because we had anticipated a speaker for this meeting who unfortunately had a conflict. So we will talk about that later down the line, later along the line. But we will go ahead and review our schedule for our work plan. Today, we plan to finalize technical questions 1 and 2. There is a minor update from last week's.
Point of order, Mayor.
Yep.
He finalized and approved technical
Was
questions.
1.
Last time.
Finalize question 1. So we are looking to finalize question 2. And if you have the question 2 from last week, I believe, Alexis, you added 2 sentences.
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought there was someone said there was.
That was Stan.
Okay, Dan, okay.
I was like, hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. Madam Secretary, do you have those 2 sentences or?
Yes, Van just interjected. Actually, he did not enter. They're ever the same. So there are not 2 sentences that are added. They are exactly the same. So there are no changes to Than's input.
So on that, I'll make the motion. We approve the responses, the technical questions as discussed in the April.
Is there any discussion?
Hmm.
All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations. We are almost halfway through our work. And so, Madam Secretary, I believe I might have this electronically, but we could share, I'd like to clean it up and make it all pretty in advance of the presentation that we're anticipating. And we talked about a flow chart but I think we'll distribute it for presentation purposes, not for changing anything, but to make it presentable to the county commission and to the public. We are looking at putting it, well, let's just go through the rest of our agenda here today. So we are ready to start technical question 3 in July. I'm sorry, in June, we're going to do a preliminary review of technical question 3. In July, we will do the final review of technical question 3 and a preliminary review of technical question 4. In July, we will update progress to the county commission. They have 2 meetings in July.
Be clear, the first part, July, is a regular water advisory committee.
Water advisory
The
committee.
second is the county commission.
Correct. I would imagine we would aim for the second meeting in July, the second county commission. In August, we are on track to do our final review of technical question 4 and wrap up. September, a guest speaker. In October, review and finalize technical questions and prepare response. And prepare our final presentation. And then to be determined, a final review and approval before the county commission.
Might I add in here then, October date TBA, second county commission meeting?
Yeah,
for
that's
the
good.
final presentation?
I think that's good.
Mhm.
Second, okay, second.
For October.
Yeah, the second meeting.
Mhm.
Wow, listen to it rain. I just interject if you can hear the rain. With regard to our upcoming schedule, I want to go back to the guest speaker for Mark Kozar. Mark needs to has to get approval from his supervisors and also get some feedback from us about what we want to have on the meeting. He's given us several dates. Dan has a conflict with some of them. His best date is June 11th, but you can't make it. So I've asked him if he could look at the last week of June. Does anyone have
June 11th, I can't make.
the last week of
I
June?
can't, well, I can't make the last.
Okay.
You're just going the whole month, aren't you, to the beach?
Technically, yes, but not going for purposes, yeah. Going to see a big show.
Oh, yeah.
And June 11th is out for you? I don't know if I can get it on June 3rd or not for him.
Fair. I mean, if I can't be there, I can't be there.
Okay.
I mean, there's
But we
always
do wanna have-
recorded and you can look at it later.
Correct.
But you can,
I just look at these things like you're never gonna get it, you, especially
Never
come
gonna
summer,
ever-
you're never gonna be able to get everybody in one time. Let's
Right.
schedule it at Mark's convenience.
okay,
As long as we can have 4 or 5 of us there.
okay.
Mhm. I think Van being there is also
Okay.
pretty important too.
I also would like to suggest that we discuss, think about what we want the guest speaker to talk about, and I think we could do that in right here for his feedback. I've had some discussions with him about a couple of projects going on, one of which is, and we've talked about this, the USGS estimation of groundwater and surface water withdrawals and water use in the northern Shenandoah Valley, Virginia and West Virginia. That was the large quantity user that were not, like non-point, that was due out last December, but has now been delayed. We might want to get an update about how that is.
Non-point and large quantity,
Um,
those are 2 different things.
Yeah, they're, let me just put, the objective is to assess water use and withdrawal from surface water and groundwater resources within the northern Shenandoah Valley. And so they're looking for compile and collect reported and other known water use data within the northern Shenandoah Valley. Develop methods to estimated unreported water use within the northern Shenandoah Valley with emphasis on rural residential / domestic self-supply and agriculture water use. So
That's gonna be more non-point.
that's going to be more non-point. So I would like to get an update on more of this, if we can get a preliminary, where's it going, what's going to be out. That is like a water, this was the preliminary to doing which Mark presented, a U.S. Geological Survey predictive groundwater flow model for Jefferson County, West Virginia. He presented this in February of 2026. This would be an expensive study, but he has since told me that he's become aware, and I don't have the name, I'd like to hear more about it, that the upper Potomac Basin has now been mapped. And he has a report on that, but that we're downstream of. And some Rockingham County in Virginia is also doing at a county with a grid, and that would be a sample for us to look at for Jefferson County or other counties. If instead of doing, Mark's biggest plan was to do a big comprehensive, and now it looks like it's going to be piecemeal by piecemeal, but pieced it
No, it
together.
almost has to be.
It almost has to be, to get the county, because there's so many different county commissions to
Right.
need to be involved in people, so. But I would like your input on what his presentation will need to be approved by his supervisors. So the sooner we can get him the information, the sooner he will put it together and present it to his supervisors. We do not, he also is not, or say, he will be within his lane, not answer questions from the public about specific projects. He is not, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
He's not allowed to speak for the USGS on what about this,
Right.
this area? Do you think there's enough water for this or should I put it here? So, but I would like everyone's input on what you would like him to see, because that will help him craft his proposal.
Okay.
So is our point here to develop the parameters and the scope of an ultimate Jefferson County study? Is that the goal and the ambition? How we can mirror what's going on, best of his knowledge in the Upper Potomac and Rockingham County and what have you?
And also, he's willing to look at, he will also take a first pass on our
Technical question.
technical questions. If you are, I think it's just,
That's
are
what I
we
was
missing
thinking.
something?
I
Are we
was-
missing something or is there
I-
something where
Well,
we should, even though we finalize them, would be useful to have, especially on the hydrogeological studies?
mhm. And so COSAR works for USGS, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
And so they have a really informative GIS that can allow us to kind of see groundwater trends. And
Mhm.
do you think having some sort of like a informational
Like an education
background?
piece?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To that, because when we eventually, and I think it's by the end of our calendar year, we should hopefully have an updated website. Could be something that for informational purposes,
sure.
or potentially merging that data with our Jefferson County GIS. It could be a tab that we add, and I'm sure our GIS,
great.
Jessica will hate that I'm adding another layer, but I know other counties will, they'll have, you can have a floodplain, you could have where water service areas are, which I know CTUB is on there. And then there's a lot of, other counties will have a lot of additional resources. So this could be something that could be merged in some way, but understanding what we could learn from it might help us know how to merge it with our resources.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had reached out to Eddie about a landing page and she says it's coming soon.
Yeah, I
So-
think realistically by the end of the year, I think we're doing, we're moving forward, but it'll take a lot of time for the website to update. We're doing logo updates right now, but then all of that we have, the website's a huge undertaking. It's,
I'm sure.
yeah, the whole new platform we'll be using.
Thought on Mark chiming in on the technical questions, and particularly technical question one. Really, that was more of a background. We
Yeah,
just
sure.
gathered background information.
Okay.
We didn't really gather or make recommendations.
Right.
I mean, he's welcome to chime in. I don't have an issue with that at all. I just don't know. The information is not incorrect.
Correct.
It just may not be complete.
That's what I was gonna say. Did we miss, I don't believe that we did, but is there just another,
Yeah.
Set of eyes.
Let's just be careful not to spend so much time studying and making a perfect answer to these questions.
good, the very excellent is very
Let's
good.
not let's not let the good enough be the
Yeah,
enemy,
yeah,
the
that's
perfect be the enemy of the
perfect.
good enough.
Okay. I think that's great.
But yeah, I certainly welcome to chime in on it, but our goal there was not to provide recommendations
It's
as
true.
much as it was just to provide background data
Yeah, right.
so that they can take these and either ask us for recommendations or proceed on their own.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm-
I'll second that too. I was thinking, Mr. Kozar was going to give an overview of our answers and
Yeah,
provide any supplemental information that he can chime in on. I do like the idea of the GIS, learning, educational experience there. I think that would be useful.
Which falls
But I don't
under
know-
another one of our buckets.
How
Yeah.
much time we have with Mr. Kozar though, because I don't know, what he's going to be able to cover in that
right.
in the timeframe. So we might want to prioritize it with him. Mhm.
We were also thinking about doing it in the early evening.
Mhm.
If we thought residents might be interested, and I wanted to talk to Eddie about how I could come before the Jefferson County Commission and make a note that COSAR is going to be here and talk about studies and publicize it in that fashion that
Mhm.
people would know if they were watching that.
So one suggestion on the agenda then,
Mhm.
we don't put a public comment period on the agenda.
No,
He's not gonna answer questions, we don't put a public.
Right.
I agree with you.
presentation only.
It's not a forum, it's a presentation by Mark Kozar about water studies, regional, and how that's applicable to the Jefferson County, and incorporating it into our known data resources,
Right.
like GIS. Okay. Any more on that? We're ready to go on to data center sharing review.
Set the date.
Data center data sharing review. As you all have, Than has produced we spoke about this at the last meeting, about how good it would be, the residents and knowledge of water resources used and where they're coming from. And Than has drafted a memorandum and a letter, and I'll open it up. I have since done some research, and I have just casual, I have some thoughts about perhaps an alternative approach, but I want to open it up to everyone else's comments on.
What I like about this letter and reading it is it's not requesting anything specific. It's just wanting to understand potential, being more proactive with future gaps in data resources, because this will be an unusual development in the county where it doesn't go through proper channels.
Mhm.
And so as we were answering these technical questions and trying to stay ahead of Jefferson County for planning purposes, having basic understandings of water peak demand and the water source is not political, it's simply informative. So it helps us plan better with other commercial or residential development that happens. So I think it's, if you look at it from the approach of purely pragmatic, I think this is a good avenue to consider, but I'm open to other things.
Very cool.
It could be, but I think the way that this is, it's saying that we understand the economic benefits to data centers and the positives. And so from our direction, we're just looking at it from a planning and water usage.
Mhm.
Because part of our goal was to answer these questions and identify resources to monitor our water. And so this is something that's going to be coming at some point. But I'm open to other avenues too, so.
Anybody
So,
else?
a suggestion on your memo to the county commission. Comment on the second paragraph. Our research has revealed a specific significant gap in water and data associated with data center development in the county.
That caught my eye too, I think.
There is no data center development in the county. I
Mm-hmm.
would just strike in the county. Make it. Or in the state.
Or proposed or potential.
A
Yeah, but there's no
quantity
data.
user in that time, in that
There's
time.
there's no data available right now, but if you
Right.
change it in the county, in the state, that's the only information the West Virginia is gonna have.
Right.
In the states, then at least you'd have a data source.
I agree with you. One of my alternatives is we don't have data for any development. So
Yeah.
singling out one commercial sector, I think could be
Right.
viewed as political.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah,
Is-
that's a good point.
Okay.
What are that associated with? Not commercial development, but.
Yeah, although I will say well, I guess it depends, but some developments, they do, during the planning process, they will, in their concept plans or site
They'll-
plan,
they'll
they will disclose how
provide it.
much water that pulls, and as opposed to this where it will be through the state down.
It's a small point. It doesn't change,
Yeah.
doesn't change things much, but there is no data in the county, so there's.
Those are buzzwords right now that grabs all attention.
Yeah. So what are you proposing it change to?
I would change it to because in
Just large quantity users?
That's what I think.
large quantity users associated with either large quantity users in the county and state, definitely and state, because those are data points. that we want.
Right.
We would be removing data center and changing that to large quantity.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like how Margaret said that, and I think it provides more context overall. I mean,
Okay.
it'll provide
Right, it's the umbrella.
options.
Yeah. And when it pertains to, county projects, you could look at, these are questions that we would know as projects are coming in for concept plan or any, those are questions we could be asking. But then there's some projects that we won't have those public hearings on. And so you can infer the knowledge gap.
I just wanted to chime in and say, I think that, I mean, just from what I remember about last meeting when we spoke about it pretty briefly, but I think the intention behind the specific, and I can't speak for Than, obviously, but my understanding was the legislation that was passed that prevents information from getting to county planners was specific to data center development.
So that's where I found an alternative. I reviewed the legislation
Okay.
and the Rules Committee, and it is specific. I think that there was amendments when this bill went through, 4983, specifically to permit information sharing, and the legislator struck it down. No. And I don't believe my understanding is Commerce Department does not have the authority to give us this information without the developer's consent. And so asking for something that the legislator said, you're not going to get,
Right.
just as a contrarian, I think that is maybe political capital you wouldn't want to use, but I do see an alternative. And that is, during the Rules Committee, it was noted that county commissions can make suggestions where they believe a data center could be located in their area. They can specifically say, this is an area that we believe would be considered by the Commerce Commission. And I just want to point that there was a meeting, I think this is a really, state developers discuss future data centers. It was on May 12th in Berkeley County, and they talked about how they had not done a great job. But Buddy Reiser made a statement that the Commerce Department is going to issue a request for information to county commissions who want data centers to ask them for feedback on where they want to go. And I would think that would be, I don't know if the county commission is aware of that, but that would not be, if the planning commission or county commission would say, these are areas that we recognize that are commercial, they have the setbacks, they have the electricity, there's not a historical community that you're impacting, and this is a water-rich area that we would think that you would consider. And that would be, although you don't have the local control, that would be the local input to the Department of Commerce. And if that's the case, that there's a request for information, that might be the alternative, then asking the Commerce Department to give us information on specific, that the legislator said, you don't get, that the county commission, that instead, if it were the county commission's prerogative, that they would work with the planning commission and engineering, say, this is where we would like you to consider. So I just throw that out there.
So
I
instead
don't
of
know that the
this
county.
memo, we would be scrapping this memo and template entirely.
Well, I just throw it out there. Since the
that makes
last,
sense to
since the
me.
last month, when I researched it, I looked at the legislation, what was voted on, what the Rules Committee said. And you know, the Summit Point developer is stating how much water is being used. And the Berkeley County is stating, is talking about using gray water.
Mhm.
I don't know that, what our purpose is writing this letter saying if the Commerce Department gets an application, we're asking for the information. Question number one, threshold, can the Department of Commerce give it to us?
Well, they might not be able to, but I think one of the pitfalls with Berkeley County is that one of the biggest negative feedbacks from residents in Berkeley County, quite frankly, was where is the water coming from?
Right.
And because they didn't release that information, it instilled a sort of hysteria.
Yeah,
And-
they noted that in this
Yeah,
article.
and so I think we don't have to necessarily get the information, but I think it's proactive of us, and I think it's on us to at least ask. And that could be up to, I understand the company might not be willing to share that, but I think asking and starting good, positive conversations, for example, with QTS, the data center that will most likely go on the border of Berkeley and Jefferson. I've met with them and I've been transparent about that. And we're on a forum together. And they have disclosed.
They disclose,
They
yes.
disclose, and that's the type of positive relationship I want to build with these data centers. So when they get announced, get approved, and they kind of fall from the sky, I can quickly, as a commissioner, answer to my
Okay.
residents their concerns, because I think with Berkeley County Commission, they have been unfairly blamed for not knowing the
Right.
information as it comes. So I think I understand that the rules essentially vetoed and the law vetoed, but I do think it's really important to at least ask the question. And then if the company and the state decide not to answer, we could at least in good conscience say we tried and we have reached out for information and we have not yet heard back, but that is a top priority. And just the water usage, I think, is probably the most important component I think residents will care about, because if they live nearby and their own wells, those are going to be the citizens that are most concerned. So being able to answer whether it's, so in the QTS standpoint, they are, I believe they are going to be using public water through
Mhm.
Berkeley County. And so when that hits, I can answer what I know, which is a good thing. And I think that will, calm a lot of the nerves of nearby residents. So whether or not we end up using this, I think it's important to consider, because we will, where a typical commercial development that is a large quantity user, they typically through concept and public meetings will disclose those sort of questions. And then this is kind of in its own category. And so we don't want to quickly pounce on it, but we want to be proactive in understanding these answers.
One of the things I thank you for your comment. One of the things in the letters says, make available this information to county citizens and JCC officials. There's no way to keep it confidential in that.
And we could,
You just can't you can't hold, I'm
Well, by
sorry.
definition, it's not confidential.
It's not confidential. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And there's a few ways we could tweak that part. We could have it could be not disclosing the full amount. It could be, hey, what are you willing to disclose?
Mhm.
It could be a check mark. Would it be more than X gallons per day? Would it be, what are the water peaks? Without giving specifics, a check like a low, medium, high, and you could have a range, but, for all three categories or something. But it could be an NDA that, for planning purposes, there is some sort of NDA in theory, or we could have it open still like this, that's fully transparent. And it could be up to the company or the state. I don't know.
It does not hurt to ask. It doesn't hurt to point out the fact that there are gaps in the data that we need to plan.
Okay.
I think there's two parts to this. Like there's planning and then there's public notification.
Mhm.
And the water data and the source needs to be known for planning. And that would be nice to know then how much can we notify the public once we sit down with these
Mhm.
data centers. I mean, CTUB, we've been talking to a few of them as well too. And they just don't know, honestly, we're talking to not even a data center, to the, here that's designing, like a project manager. They
Mhm.
don't know the campus yet, what it's gonna look like. They're coming to us asking for what's available to know what can they, what size can they get away with? And so they are kind of waiting on our answers to be
Yeah.
able to give an answer on
Mhm.
what size they want. They're trying to get to be as big as they can, it seems like. But yeah, some of these aren't even end users coming into us. They're the managers finding the land, finding the, acquiring the location, and then saying, hey, come and look. And then they figure out what the actual usage is at that point. But to identify the fact that there are gaps that we're not being informed enough
Mhm.
about, I think it does not hurt to point that out. And if they give us a response, great. If not, kind of don't expect a response, because we know what the legislature came out with.
Right.
But it would not hurt to the issue,
And
in my opinion. According to, pretty close to what Fan has here, I mean, I'm sure we could rewrite it 100 different ways, but it's ultimately going to say the same thing.
Yeah, and one of the things too, from a planning perspective, say that, let's put in the QTS location as a kind of a case study. That parcel is currently zoned industrial on the Jefferson side. And in our 2045 comprehensive plan, we voted to consider data centers in industrial zoned properties. So that in theory would have kind of already molded into the framework that we had set. Public had, voted and generally supported that notion. But the public utilities with that site are presumably going to be, extended, right? And so if we didn't know what utility they were using, and say there's a property on the other side that is planning to do X, but they don't know that there's going to be no connection available, it's helpful for, adjoining or nearby, developers as well. So it could be helpful for other projects as well.
I think we need to massage this.
Yeah. Yeah.
With that in mind. And I think if there's a request for information coming from the Commerce Department, that's the time, exactly what you said, well, we have these areas zoned.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are the type of studies we'd like to know. We'd like to know how much water, and we'd like to know that where you're getting the water from and how much do they take. For instance, I mean, Berkeley County, what if they weren't using recycled water or gray water? And they were
Mhm.
taking water out of the basin, then that affects us. So,
Yeah. And right now they don't know to what degree they're going to be able to use that and how much any gaps, water gaps, or from what the last I've heard. But I agree, it's important information.
where do we want to take this? Revise this and the other, and I think it's helpful, is to look at the Department of Commerce site and see how they're fast tracking these really quickly. I mean, they have a fast track process. By design. I think this needs to be revised to incorporate these comments here. I don't know, I think the information should be not released to the citizens unless well.
So take it back a second.
Yeah, take it
I'm going to jump on what Carol was saying. Asking the question and expecting the answer are two different things.
Right, yeah, okay.
Right.
Asking the question gives us, as Jefferson County residents, Jefferson County planners, people not necessarily responsible, but interested, it gives us the opportunity to at least, again, request the data.
Mhm,
Or due diligence.
Due diligence. If they choose to not provide the data,
mhm.
that's on them.
Mhm.
There's nothing that.
It
we
might be
can
by
do.
statute, though.
So,
It's,
yeah,
it's not.
but with QTS, for example, they're coming in wanting to be good neighbors.
Yes, exactly.
And
Well, we
so-
want people to be good neighbors,
Right.
right?
And so this is giving an olive branch. Hey, we're not,
Yep.
none of this is throwing rocks at them. We're saying,
Okay.
hey, we want to know this information if you're willing to share it. So it could help us
If
with,
your developers are
in-
willing to share it, it would go a long way.
it would.
The
Yeah.
developer is not held to this statute. They're held to some statutes, but
Yeah.
not a divulging of information.
Right.
They're not held to that. That's just the Commerce Department.
Mhm.
And a lot of the data centers, I mean, the QTS, they want to be liked by their community.
Right.
And so for them, speaking on my conversations with them, they've wanted to build good relationships. They want to give data that they have available to ease anxiety of residents. And so I'm hoping that we can use that model that we've, I think, been successful in so far with them to hope that we can have that same olive branch to potential others. They don't have to release
Maybe
it.
we mentioned that we've had a very successful
Yeah.
experience with a proposed data center.
Right.
And it's gone a long way to help
Right.
bring it on board quicker without,
Right.
for the locals.
Yeah.
Well, I'm willing to massage this and send it around.
Yeah.
For comments, for the red line.
Yeah.
And get comments.
Fair enough.
I'm not against it. I'm just want to be, this is what I do, contrarian
Yeah.
in a way. What would be, who would say no and why? So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
Okay.
And that is the Open Meetings Act requires that all discussion about it be happening in an open meeting. So you can't send around a
Okay,
discussion
that's right.
draft
Okay.
that is redlined. We're on the same page. That's not happening.
Thank you. Yeah, you're right.
Perfect.
So maybe we can.
So
bring it
we'll
back
all
to
send in
next-
comments and we'll put a draft together. Individual comments and we'll put a draft together for the next meeting.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Thank you, Eddie.
Mhm.
She's going to keep me out of trouble.
Mhm.
That's why we. Is there anyone else have any thoughts about it since we're discussing this in open meeting?
Um,
I'm so used to litigation and work.
do you think that we could consider
Wow, listen.
with, so based on, so if we could, and it's on the agenda, sort of, I think we're following open meetings, with the conversation that happened, you said May 12th in Berkeley County. Could we get into what they,
Sure.
because they have not talked to the county commission yet. So could you kind of go into more detail as to what they hope to talk with the county commission on? So maybe we can.
Sure. I'm pulling this from Tony Milburn.
Oh, sure.
So
Thank you,
this is,
Tony.
I'm pulling this from, let me see, the Journal. Let's see, we got Wednesday, May 13th, 2026, following Buddy Reiser from Loudoun County, Chris Morris. I'm sorry, it was Chris Morris who said about the RFI, Director of West Virginia's Data Economy Office, and John Curtis and Chris White, partners with Penzan. Let me just see what they said here. Questions surrounding water use were also addressed. Curtis said the project intends to rely heavily on reclaimed water rather than potable water. Currently, approximately 1.1 million gallons of treated wastewater from a nearby treatment plant are discharged daily into the Apecan Creek. Penzan plans to use that reclaimed water for as much as 60% of the campus's needs. The company also plans to discuss a reclaimed water facility and on-site storage systems to support operations during peak summer demand. Let me see, they've also engaged West Virginia University economist John Dreskin to conduct a formal economic analysis. Then we want to go into, I'll just go into one thing I said. This is from Morris. They talked about House Bill 2014, stressing that and let me tell you Morris's title again. Chris Morris, Director, West Virginia Data Economy Office. Morris stressed that the legislation does not exempt projects from oversight. They still must work with permitting agencies such as DEP and the State Historic Preservation's Office. So Morris acknowledged The communications with local residents during the early stages of the project could have been stronger. That's where
Mhm.
we're coming in. He's acknowledged that we would like to have that early conversation. We have not communicated as well with local folks as we could, and we will do better. Looking ahead, Morse said the state plans to issue a request for information seeking additional sites and communities interested in hosting data center development. A lot of comments want these projects. He also discussed the possible formation of an advisory council to provide a broader public input regarding future data center development in West Virginia.
Can I backtrack for a second?
Sure.
I got a text from Stan. Yep. He basically says, hi, I'm on the road and Zoom link provided to me doesn't work. But the question is whether the WAC should request this action by CC for warning planning data. I vote yes. Just trying. We've covered that and
Yeah.
still gonna get back, but
So in theory, so there's a lot of content here that I like. Because what that article is saying is that they want to learn from the mistakes of Berkeley County. And I know the bill codifies NDAs and these sort of things, but the backlash from the lack of basic understanding of things, i.e. water, has caused a lot of heartache and heartburn for the state. And I think it's in their best interest to consider some of the contents in this letter from just a water peak demand and water source, so that when these projects in the future are announced, they could be hopefully announced with the bullet points of what these things are. And that does not give any NDA disclosures as to who the clients will be, who the end user will be, where the buildings will go, but it does offer, so if it is public utilities, or if it is going to be a gray water scenario, it would be nice, it would be more palatable to know that. And I don't want, as a commissioner, I worry about the backlash of what happened in Berkeley County, and my head on a spike because we don't have this basic question answered. So because tomorrow something could drop out of the sky, that's where my worry is with this. And it's not anti this, it's wanting information, or at least asking for it. I'm hoping that they will tell us, but maybe having this letter just addressed, not even necessarily to the West Virginia Department of Commerce, but maybe just to the commission, saying, hey, these are things that maybe we should consider when you, per the article, when you are requesting for information or showing areas that would work for our county, or what could, coincides with our comprehensive 2045 plan. These are also some basic questions that we would want these good neighbors to disclose if they're able.
So the letter would be from the Jefferson County Water Advisory Committee to the county commission
To
and
consider.
say, consider this
I-
when something's proposed, that that the county commission would ask for this information
Of-
earlier in the process.
Earlier in the process in some sort of, if in the early June meeting, and this would be before our next water advisory committee,
Mm.
if, and this is just theoretical, if they put this on the agenda and we don't have something kind of in draft form
Mhm.
potentially voted on, we could pull that as a starting point for the county commission to consider. So maybe if we wanted to consider some part of this approved for a vote, that way, if we need to use it in the next 30 days or 20 days, we can, as a starting point to consider for future votes. But it could be something that we work on in the future or refine in the future as well. The problem with that I have is I don't know when or if a data center will come in the next 20 days in our county. And so having some sort of approval of this letter might be helpful, especially if it's approved in 3 weeks a day before a next county commission meeting and there's 100 people in the audience, it might be helpful to have this in our back pocket. Which would have to be voted on by the county commission anyway. So. What do you?
I think, I think we should possibly get it more final to what we want
Yeah.
before we have it. I understand
Yeah.
what you're coming from though.
Yeah.
The timeframe.
Yeah,
From my experience, we review for water and sewer, all plans. There's going to be a lot of tables that those plans have to get reviewed on.
Right.
They'll go through multiple submissions. I don't have a crystal ball, but I do not envision a data center coming in approved within 30 days of today.
right.
But
That's good.
doesn't that assume public water?
Uh,
If it's out there.
It's a 14
it's
day.
gonna, I mean,
Well-
if they tie into me, they're going to
Correct.
be.
Even
yeah,
if
yeah,
it's,
gonna be
if
public
it's
water, but
being
they also have
proposed on a well, they
discharges.
would have to go through the state environmental health office for well drilling permitting for commercial purposes. So it would still be, and I don't know what their timeline is, but the health department's timeline for well approval is 21 business days. So we would, you know,
Be okay,
they would have to like start the process.
right. And then,
today,
yeah,
Basically.
A significant fear of that, I don't have, to be
Okay.
honest.
I'd
like the
agree
next
with
30
that,
days.
yeah.
Okay.
But we definitely should have something online, not far after that. I'd
Right.
say.
Yeah.
If you're willing to revise it.
I just feel more comfortable looking at this a little bit longer.
mhm,
Before, and I'd also really like to hear Than's thoughts.
I'm telling you his thoughts. He
I
wants this
know.
approved as written.
Yes.
Right.
He's the writer. I wouldn't expect anything different.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, just contrarian, there was an amendment specifically with this that was shot down
yeah,
by the legislature. The amendment asked,
The worst they can
Yeah.
say is no.
the worst they can say
Right.
is no.
and it can be
just-
on, and it can be on me, just as a sole commissioner, as a
Yeah,
project gets
yeah.
announced, I can reach out to that company and say,
Yeah.
hey, are you willing to, reading the third paragraph, disclose the water peak demand and water source of this project?
Well,
And that's just me on my own. I don't have to, that does not have to, and that's what I've been asking, with QTS and, basic questions.
how about as a loan commissioner or somewhere in the commission that, I mean, in my world, if I hear a request for information is coming, we reach out to who's going to write it and see if we can affect how it's being written.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you call the Department of Commerce and say, hey, here at FRI, how can we help you craft it so I can affect my local?
Yeah,
Just a
that's-
thought.
That could be something that we incorporate for this
In
letter. Yeah,
If
more.
there's a request for information, we'd like to know more about what you're looking for from counties. If you need something from the planning commission, water studies, tables,
Sorry, say that again. Who? I mean,
Well, if there's a request for information coming, potentially, from the Department of Commerce to the county commissions or there may be an opportunity to reach out and say, what is going to be in this RFI? Can we help you? From our perspective, this is what we would think should be in the RFI. When you look at our county, our zoning, our water usage, what we need to know to make it palatable for our citizens.
Mhm.
But that's an advocacy to reach out to the Commerce Department. and-
Yeah, and that might be more of a county commission
That's a county
anyway.
commission, yeah.
Yeah, and based on there, it seems like they want to start conversations with county commission. So I think that might be a good.
Yeah, and I think they want county commissions to say, that, for this, local input, you're elected on the local level. Where do your local citizens, where do you think this would be palatable? Where does it fit?
Right, yeah. And per our comprehensive plan, it fits in industrial zone properties, so.
Okay,
And, but we can consider that for maybe a future meeting or maybe some sort of agenda request.
And much of that article, they talked about Tuesday on the House floor he came and he did a presentation for 45 minutes on the House floor and went into great detail about how he does want to work with the commissions, the 5 counties that have the commission, and
To be clear, he is who?
Chris Morse.
Chris Morris.
Sorry, yeah, he did the presentation. So,
Yeah.
but yes, very, very much on track. What we're saying and the dialogue we're having is what
And
he presented.
And Chris Morris has been, he has taken every call I've had over the last, 6 months plus. And so we've built a good rapport with each
Mhm.
other. So he can release, I think he'll, give information as he's able and, bound by the law. So.
So let me just make a note that the thought here is that we're going to table this.
Table this till June.
Soon. I will make an independent, take all these comments and massage it and submit, send it around in the packet for next meeting. And we'll finalize it then and get it on the county commission agenda. And adhere to the motion, Open Meetings Act.
Yeah.
Is there any other input to that? Because then we could entertain a motion.
I'm moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that was a lot
Mhm.
for a short meeting. I just had stepped back and went, ooh.
So Than, I know you can hear us. I just wanted to thank you for your work on this. And so for our vote, we're going to readdress this in June with some
Actually, I don't.
live red line. He's not?
No.
He's not hearing it?
That's why it's texted.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought he just
The link
couldn't
was it.
respond back. I thought he had does he have the YouTube
It
link?
says that the Zoom link provided to me doesn't.
It's not Zoom, I
It's
provided him
the
a
YouTube.
YouTube. link.
Yeah, so YouTube, I think what I took from what you read is that he is able to hear us, but he cannot talk back to us. So we're not able to hear what he's
Right.
saying. Yeah, the YouTube link is live, but there's no way to chime in unless you're on the Zoom.
Okay. New business. We ready to move on to new business?
Tara had something, we were in the middle of something until I interrupted.
Oh, I don't know.
It was this right here. That was new business.
Oh, I think, the newspaper?
The meeting, so maybe we're done with that, but
I
the
think-
meeting in Martinsburg.
I think, yeah, I was referencing that for what their objective was with the county commission as
Mhm.
it relates to the letter
Okay.
and how we could maybe incorporate that with the goals of their relationship with the county commission.
Mhm.
So maybe leveraging what Than has started with our comprehensive plan potentially and can continue conversations with Morris. Yeah.
I'll massage it.
Yeah.
Okay, new business. Website development, content and educational information. One thing I really want up there is just, our names. The agendas, the finalized minutes, the bylaws, and then educational materials as we develop them, like presentations or reports. Mark Kozar has sent a list of really good USGS studies that would be helpful for the community in one place. Look here. That's what but I don't know if there's other thoughts from people about what should be on as an educational and transparency to the public.
As long as there's
So-
no photos of me on there, I'm okay.
I'm sorry?
As long as there's no photos of me, I'm okay.
Your name's good, but no picture.
Right there, Les.
I know, I can't even look out the corner of my eye right now.
Well, I don't know that we should have I could have, my county email, or the county email, but we don't need to,
I don't have an issue with putting my county email. in.
No.
I don't either.
Oh, yeah, the county.
I can
think-
control
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the terms, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Board members, similar to what we do on the planning commission. So they typically have all 9 members when they expire, and then our bylaws at the bottom of the page. So I think that format is very helpful. And then any documents we have could be below that.
Yeah.
And you've covered the big thing, which then is the reference link.
references.
Yeah, a general drop down of references.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're
Yeah.
gonna post our agendas and meetings
we'll
minutes on
post
that
the
website.
finalize, final
Final.
minutes,
Final
not
final minutes, but agendas beforehand.
agendas beforehand.
On the, I do have a question. My, the CTUB board is requesting the, minutes for, I know we're gonna do them next month, but they're
Yeah.
requesting the minutes from, since I've been here.
Okay.
Is it, is it the board's or the committee's, opinion that I can provide the draft minutes to CTUB, or would we wait to do the approval?
We
I mean,
do,
everything was approved up till this past month.
yeah, so
last
we have January, February, March, and April. I was
Yeah.
gonna ask her to sign
Yeah.
them.
So she, because I think Kristen had done the same thing. She wanted from our conception back in July
Okay.
to current.
Uh,
Could we get the signed? Cause you still have to sign them, right?
You've
Yeah,
submitted that.
I've
in
submitted
time,
everything, yeah.
But would you mind signing them?
No, I don't want, no.
Yeah,
no,
I've got,
that's it.
I have, I think, many of them here, so I can scan them and send them around. I'll get with
Okay.
Margaret, but
Okay.
yeah, I wanted to give them to you signed. So
Yeah,
that-
if you could,
Yes, I appreciate that. Thank
include
you.
me on that so I could forward those to the Board of Health too. 'Cause
Okay.
They were
Okay.
also interested.
So we have July, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. And we'll have April, May.
Yeah, April, May, for, yeah, next month.
A lot of work, Madam Secretary. Appreciate it.
Not really, but.
Thank you.
Squeezing time in.
Okay, anything else on the website? Member comment?
No?
Thank you for the rain. They
Yeah,
planned it
that's
around
good.
our water
Yeah, that's
advisory
good.
committee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn,
So moved.
all in favor?
Hi.
Hi, let me put this back and Margaret, I'll grab with you and get
Okay.
what we can scan. So thank you. That was a very interesting.
We did well on the pivot. You did good. This is not having the speaker.
All right, brother.
Yep. All right. Yeah, I remember now. He asked me about the